I want to introduce you to my new favorite building block, the cube, the 8x8 cube. So this is 6 layers of bricks with 2 layers of plates. And what's interesting about that is the dimensions work out that it's exactly an 8x8 cube, as you can see here on all sides. Okay, why is that interesting? Because you can now leverage horizontal units like the plate kind of in the vertical space. And this form factor is very useful building block for larger structures, as the game Minecraft has proven. So let's demonstrate this value. So here we've injected the top row of bricks and the bottom row of bricks with snot. So then we can attach this plate. It actually has 2 slightly different positions, with respect to the cube. If we put some of the plates on the bottom, it would line up perfectly with that. But for different reasons, I like to have the plates on the top. So, and if you stack these, you can then do an 8 plate. So you can do stack as much as you want, end up with larger and larger plates, and merge the plates. In some applications, you need to go stronger. This actually shows the underlying pattern: brick, plate, plate, brick, plate, plate, brick, plate, plate, brick, plate, plate, that gets the best and densest alignment with the horizontal units. So in this case, the plate, when attached, is attaching not just to 2 lines, but to 4 lines of snot bricks, and so it's a much stronger attachment. And I've got one particular application where I need that to happen on the Lego throne. So now that we've established our cube structure and some of the value in it with the plates, first let's go horizontal. So this technique is to combine 2 cubes as neighbors. So you just pop out a couple of the bricks. You'll see these have different polarities of the 2x6 bricks, and then replace them with other bricks. Do that on the top and bottom. And now these are very strong structure for building out horizontally. Now we can go farther afield by spacing the bricks a little bit apart. So we take those off, and where is it? Okay. And now we can span like that. So, and you can build more double plates for longer distances. Now, in this case, I've left these holes there, which we'll talk about later, but in some applications, you just do a large plate structure over many of these things, and you get that. So those are our 2 horizontal techniques of coupled neighbors and of plate spans to go horizontal. So now let's go vertical. You'll notice that these bricks have Technic on the back. So what that lets us do is, if we stack this just like with the plates, now we can take lift arms and attach them and keep the vertical stuff together. So where this is important is when you get to particularly large structures. They do, even despite all of this, when you get over like 3 or 4 feet, this all will bend under its own weight and under different stresses. You'll notice these ones I've actually done the lift arms, the Technic internal, and so that you can actually hide this structure with by putting it on the inside. So you can see here, I can span that whole thing through the same way, this exact same way it did on the outside. And it's a little bit tight with your fingers and all that. I typically, in some structures, I prefer, instead of the 15 that spans that, I prefer this 11. And the reason is because the 11 will bind together 2 plate layers and keep all of that together. Whereas this one binds together just 1 plate layer and 2 of these. But then you kind of, so when going for height, you stagger this like that, or like this, And so then in the staggering, you get connection, continual connection between all of the layers. So now we can combine all of these techniques. So let's take the neighbors, add another brick to the bottom of that. And let me introduce one more thing here, which is the pin. So this is a 3 plates with 4 slope corners on top. This is a neighbor with a stack. And so in this, boom, I get a nice strong modular connection. So these are very strong like bricks, and then the modular connection locks it in there very nicely. So you can do corners, you can do kind of other things. And it allows, so I've discovered with the throne that portability is critical to actually moving it around anywhere. And so this is a technique developed in order to make the Lego throne more portable, which you can see in a video of where the throne is at today. Okay. You can see here the seat with a bunch of pins and inserts for the side. So let me attach that. This is the right side of the throne, which is, by being detachable, allows me to cover this with plates and blades and hopefully store all of that in its own crate with the blades attached, so I don't have to reattach them every time. And once the sides are attached to the seat, I can attach the seat back, which is not quite done, but here's what it looks like today. The final seat back will build a bit higher and have fixed blade mounts all across the top. But this shows the technique of the individual cubes, the long spans, the neighbors, and obviously the pin caps connections all the way through there. I developed these cube techniques to help me rebuild the Lego throne to be stronger and more portable. Look for future videos as I complete this total rebuild.